The story begins in the future, where being single is considered a crime for any person. Every person must always be with their partner, otherwise they will be sent to jail. Those who, for any reason, end up single are sent to a hotel for 45 days so they can find a partner for themselves. If they don't find anyone, they will be turned into any animal of their choice. We see a woman sitting in a car who arrives at a field where there are some small donkeys. She gets out of the car and shoots one of the donkeys with a gun. After this, David's story is introduced, who is an architect. His wife had recently left him for another man. That's why David was brought to the hotel to find a new partner. David was accompanied by his dog Bob, who is actually his real brother. He was turned into a dog because he couldn't find a girl. If this happened here, half the boys would be roaming around as dogs. This is a really unfair rule, man. After arriving at the hotel, David signed a paper, after which a girl interviewed him. According to their rules, you must have something in common with your potential partner. David couldn't see distant things clearly. This means he'll have to look for a girl who also has poor distance vision. After that, he went to his room where the manager and his wife explained the hotel rules to him. The manager asked him if he doesn't find a partner, which animal would he choose to become? David said he would become a crab because crabs live up to 100 years and he is also good at swimming. The manager was quite pleased with his answer because most people prefer to become dogs, which has led to a significant increase in the number of dogs. Before they left, the hotel maid tied up one of David's hands so that he wouldn't be able to use his hand for the Jagannath system. The next day at breakfast, he made friends with two men. The first was Robert, who spoke with a stutter, and the second was John, who had some difficulty walking. Both of them were also looking for girls like themselves. There, they noticed a woman whose nose was constantly bleeding. Standing nearby was a stone-hearted woman, but unfortunately there was no girl like them. After this, all of them were called one by one to talk about themselves. John shared that one day he went to visit his mother, who had now turned into a wolf. It was his wolf mother who had caused the condition of his leg. All day long, everyone would talk among themselves and keep searching for a partner. At night, during the dance party, David invited the girl with the nosebleed to dance, but he soon realized that the two of them didn't have much in common. Later, all of them were sent to the nearby forest, where they had to hunt down the runaways. The runaways were actually those people who had escaped from the hotel because they hadn't found a partner and now didn't want to become animals. If they went to the city, the police would catch them and send them back to the hotel. So they formed their own group and started living in the forest itself. Single people staying at the hotel could shoot these runaways with tranquilizer darts so they could be brought back to the hotel and turned into animals. The more runaways the singles caught, the more days they earned to remain human. On the first day, David wasn't able to catch a single runaway. The best hunter was that cold-hearted woman who managed to catch 10 runaways in a single day. Apart from this, there were some strange rules in the hotel, one of which was that at night, a maid would come and spend the night with the men so that their desire to find a partner would remain strong. One day, Robert was caught using his hand illegally, and as punishment, the manager burned his hand by putting it in a toaster. During the next hunt, David sat with a woman who really liked butter biscuits. She tried to charm David, but he wasn't interested in her at all. The woman said that if she didn't find a partner, she would jump out of her room's window and end her life. Later, while swimming, John deliberately hit his nose to make it bleed. Then he went to the girl with the nosebleed and told her that he was just like her. The girl agreed, and so the next evening, the two of them were paired as a couple and sent to the same room. A few days later, the girl with the butter biscuits jumped out of the window and ended her life. The cold-hearted woman just watched her scream in pain, but didn't even get up to help her. Now David had only 1 week left to find a girl, so to avoid turning into a lobster, he decided to talk to the cold-hearted woman. He himself started pretending to be cold-hearted because that woman wanted a man who didn't feel anything. The two of them talked for quite a while and David kept up his act. The woman also started taking an interest in David. One day, both of them were in the tub when the woman pretended to die to test David, but David just sat there ignoring her, as if it didn't matter to him at all. This made the woman trust David and she started to fall in love with him. Then the two of them were paired up as a couple and sent to a room together. Now they were allowed to do everything that couples do. Dirty minds! So one day, to expose David's truth, she brutally beat his dog, who was actually his brother, to death. David kept his composure and said nothing, but later the woman saw him crying in the bathroom. She started to take him to the manager for lying, but David shot her with a tranquilizer and knocked her out. The maid saw all of this happen, but she promised that she wouldn't tell anyone. David wanted to beat the woman severely to avenge his brother's death, but then he came up with a new plan. David and the maid took her to the transformation room together and turned her into an animal. After that, David escaped from the hotel to save his life. In the forest, he encountered a group of runaways and their leader. For a moment, he thought he had found good people, but that wasn't the case. Their leader was just as cold-hearted and ruthless, while the government was busy forcing people into relationships. This leader, on the other hand, would punish any of the runaways if they fell in love with someone. A few days ago, they cut off two people's lips because they were flirting with each other. Man, what is even going on here? After explaining all the rules and regulations, David was accepted into the group. One of the girls in the group also had poor distance vision, just like David. As soon as she saw David, she started to like him. But because of the leader's rules, she would only talk to David as a friend. In the evening, when the hotel people came to hunt, Robert ended up catching his own friend David. David pleaded with him, reminding him of their friendship, saying, "Bro, please let me go, what's wrong?" But Robert only had 2 days left at the hotel, so David's words had no effect on him. Suddenly, David's new friend attacked Robert from behind and saved his life. At the same time, the hotel maid met with the leader of the runaways. In fact, the two were in cahoots, and whenever everyone went out hunting, the maid would inform the leader about everything happening at the hotel. The maid was also unhappy with her husband, but because of the government's laws, she couldn't leave him. So she teamed up with the leader to plan an attack on the hotel. Every month, 2 people from the runaways would pose as a couple and go into the city to get food. This time, the leader sent David and his friend for this task. At the mall, a police officer saw David alone and started questioning him. He asked David for his marriage papers, but David's friend arrived just in time and saved him. A few days later, the runaways were ready to attack the hotel. That night, with the help of the maid, they broke into the hotel and took the manager and his wife hostage. They told the manager that if he wanted to save his own life, he would have to shoot his wife. The man didn't care about his wife at all, and without hesitation, he shot her. But in reality, there were no bullets in the gun. The fugitives just wanted to show them the truth, that there was no love between the two of them and their relationship was completely baseless. Meanwhile, David reached John and the girl with the nosebleed. He told the girl that John pretends to have nosebleeds so that the two of them can stay together. After showing the hotel people the truth, the fugitives returned to the forest again. That night, the maid also joined their group. Over the next few days, David and his friend grew closer. They made a plan to escape from there and spend their lives together. The girl wrote all these things in her diary, but unfortunately, the leader read everything. She was furious at this betrayal, but she didn't say anything to David or the girl. A few days later, she took the girl with her to the city. She said she would fix her long-distance vision, but in reality, she had the girl blinded. After returning to the forest, the girl realized the truth and in a fit of rage tried to kill the leader, but by mistake, she killed the maid. The leader spared her and sent her to David. At first, the girl tried to hide her blindness, but later she confessed everything herself. She was afraid that David would leave her. David was also troubled, but he decided to stand by the girl. He gradually helped her enhance her ability to sense through her nose and ears. David didn't want to lose her, so they decided to kill the leader and escape from the forest. At night, they carried out their plan. David threw the leader into a grave, and wild dogs came and tore him apart, eating him. Then both of them disguised themselves and escaped from the forest. After a while, they stopped at a restaurant. David decided to blind himself so that they would be alike and could escape the oppression of the government. After thinking for a while, David went to a waiter to get a knife. David went to the bathroom and was about to stab his eyes with the knife, but he stopped midway. That's where the story ended, and it was never revealed whether the two of them were able to play black together or not. So who among you is single and might be turned into an animal in the future? Be sure to let me know in the comments.